Welcome on this Sunday evening here. What a torchy, sultry summer day here in the East Central Plains of Kansas. John Jacobson with Dr. Peter W. Tinsman, MD. Two guys. It's Boomer Takes. We're boomers. Boomer Takes with Pete and Jake, ruminating about life on a Sunday evening. We could have cocktails, but can't actually sip them on radio. And it would dehydrate us. We're going to talk a little bit about this heat wave tonight. And you're listening to us, of course, as always, on our simulcast broadcast, 1220, 103.7 FM, KOFO. You can always listen live on KOFO.com and pick up the podcast, Boomer Takes, on KOFO.com/podcast. Our engineer of excellence is Mr. Sean Torres. And guys, we were just so delighted that you're all listening in from wherever you may be tonight. Many of you from that radial band here in Kansas that would include Emporia by K-State, Peak at the Capitol, Lawrence, Rock Chalk, Jayhawk Country, Baker University in Baldwin City, plus Princeton, Paola, Osage, Osawatomie, Gardner, and Garnett, and Wellsville and Williamsburg. And we're here at the Radio Ranch in the great city of Ottawa. Home and away voice of your Kansas City Royals. It's hot when they're playing in Kaufman as well. And you know what bums me out, Pete? In the old days, we didn't get out of school till Memorial Day. We didn't go back to Labor Day. The kids are going back to school here like August 12th or something like that. It was a tragedy. I'm going to call it a tragedy. The only pool in Ottawa, the outdoor pool, the city pool, closes August 2. I can't believe such a thing. Closes August 2.
August 2nd?
Now,
why so early?
Well, you're going to have to ask them. Part of it is that school starts very early, but here's the beauty of the American Free Enterprise System. I know for a fact that they are selling pool chlorine and shock pellets and other anti-algae and infiltration types of equipment at Walmart here in Ottawa. You would think, Pete, that literally there are hundreds of home outdoor pools in this. It's a town of 10,000 people. But you should see the stuff fly off the shelves. It's unbelievable. So, Pete, nature always abhors a vacuum. And I'm going to tell you, people are going to be grabbing pool salt and chlorine and anti-algae shock tablets. And Pete, they're going to be doing that well past Labor Day. And so a lot of these are above ground pools. Some of these are below ground pools. But Pete, people do need to find a way to stay cool, because this has been now a brutal heat wave, unabated for a week with another week.
And the warmer the temperatures, the warmer the water, the more chemicals you need to maintain those adequate chlorine levels.
Yeah, that's a great point.
And let's say you keep it open till late September, when that water cools off compared to mid-July, there's a huge difference.
Yeah, Pete, I think that's a great point. And so but what I've noticed, so as many of you know listening in, Sean Torres and I were out doing multiple remotes at the Franklin County Fair on our fairgrounds here in Ottawa. It's open. You can't hide from the sun out there very easily. We did the best we could under that little mini pavilion there to have our radio center there. Although it was a coveted position, Sean, because not only was there a lot of activity by the food vendors in our area, but our great first responders would bring people overcome by heat into our areas, maybe a little staging ground to get them with their family or wherever they needed treatment or just a place to kind of cool down and drink some water. So, Pete, as a matter of fact, Pete, I just got off the phone advising another person. I said, you've got heat symptoms going on. You need to hydrate. Pete, why does dehydration come upon us so fast? And how quickly can we turn it around?
Because we are sweating buckets. And, people, I'm not thirsty and I'm okay. And, you get behind and it's this hot out, it's like you need to drink water. You need to have water, it's just important to replace those minerals that you're losing and stay well hydrated. You got to stay ahead of it.
Pete, is
It's
something
as
like
simple as that. And
Gatorade or some of these drinks with electrolytes, do those help even beyond H2O water?
yeah, because they've got some sugar in it, they got some electrolytes in it, and that sort of thing. Yeah, I would tell people a lot. Pedialyte, like which is used, in children having
Right.
eye issues and stomach flu sort of thing, and drinking Pedialyte has all those wonderful minerals in it.
I hear there's
I've
Pedialyte
got a bottle. I have a
popsicles.
bottle of. Pardon me.
I hear there's Pedialyte popsicles.
There could very well. I don't know. That would make sense. What a great way to do it. Yeah, people like when I start feeling dehydrated. I start feeling like I have the flu coming on.
Exactly.
And I'm just like, I said, I think I'm dehydrated. I'll go in and I will drink 1 to 2 liters of water, or 1 to 2 liters of and within 15 minutes, I'm like, oh, now I feel good. Now I feel normal again.
This hits home with me too, Pete. So, Pete, can coffee dehydrate you?
Can coffee dehydrate
Yeah,
you?
I've heard that
John,
coffee
that's an
kind of
excellent
dries you up.
question.
Yeah, I've heard that
I'm not a coffee drinker.
Yeah, I have heard that coffee can dehydrate you. I hear that soda pop dehydrates.
Well, soda pop. I mean, it's just sugar.
Yeah.
And you get that sugar, and and then your urine, and then that pulls fluids with you. We were building a barn a number of years ago, probably 20 years ago, and it was hot day, and the workers who were doing it, and it was kind of like, do you guys need any water? Are you drinking pop? And they're like, we never ever drink pop when it's this hot. We only drink water. And he goes, and pop just does not quench your thirst.
And Pete, we'll touch on this subject. Both in cold weather, alcohol can give you a feeling that you're not literally freezing to death when you might be engaged in frostbite. And in hot weather like this, alcohol really can be a menace against your system as well. It can advance the problematics of dehydration.
It does, because alcohol affects something called the and that's why people they urinate more when they're drinking alcohol, and they get dehydrated. Yeah.
So Pete, what temps really concern you? I guess I notice physically, once the Fahrenheit gets above 90, I can handle 80s. There's something about that 90 marker in my system, and maybe it's age. I truly feel, maybe you want to opine on this, I could run around at 18 on a tennis court in 95 degrees in an afternoon, and even without extra pounds, because I think I'm not overweight, I just can't do that anymore at 65. Why does age make a difference?
That's a good question. Same thing. I was in high school, college. It could be 95 degrees. I'd be outside playing tennis. This is fine. This isn't hot.
Yeah, I was too.
And as I get older, it's kind of like, dear, this past week I have been outside working all day, every day.
Yeah.
And it has been hot. It's like, you just drip, drip, drip. And it's like, and I was thinking this as a kid. And why that is, probably because we have more fat on our body.
Yeah, makes sense.
That helps insulate a little bit, maybe. I don't really, I would have to tell you, I don't really know the exact answer to that question.
Yeah.
But having, as we get older, we have more fat. I remember when I was 18 and we were at a lake, sitting on a dock, and people who were older, they have their little bellies, a little fat, on their bellies. I'm just like, how is that possible? How do you get that much fat on your belly?
Exactly.
That just didn't make any sense. I looked at me, all I had was skin, and underneath this.
Yep.
But you get older, boy, that changes.
It sure does. It really, really does. It's, guys, clear and copious. Pete, the late, great Scoutmaster, wonderful friend of mine, Tom Schnapel, out at Scout Camp with our troop one summer, we had multiple consecutive days of over 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Scout Camp, this was in southwest of Omaha. Southwest of Omaha, at a camp there. They had a great aquatic pool center, which was most helpful. But what was interesting about that was that there were young kids and scouts that were even healing from the heat, but none of the kids in our troop did. And that's because the Scoutmaster made those kids drink full 16 ounces like on a regular. It was either like every 20 or 30 minutes. And he would yell out clear and copious. And the kids drank, and not one kid, not one of that entire group had any symptomology. And kids were falling in other areas. It was just, he like clockwork made them I can't remember if it was 15, 20 or 30 minutes. They drank, and they drank pure water, and they were fine.
Well, John, what I don't know how many years ago it was when there were some stories in the news of high school kids that heat stroke and they died during football practice.
Oh, yes.
Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
And they weren't being given enough breaks to drink and stay hydrated.
Right.
And, and the death of some of those, boys, obviously, I would think changed things. It said, hey, it's just like, this kid may be 16 years old, 17 years old, but they need to stay well hydrated.
Yep. I think we've got some laws now in this area where I think they have put a cap on practicing above 90-degree temperatures, which I think is good. I think that's very good.
Oh, I think, yeah.
The old 2-a-day practices, the way they were run in the 60s and 70s, is probably scandalous if you look back now. But did people know any better back then? They were also smoking cigarettes and, eating steak and potatoes every morning. A lot of things that we didn't know back then. So, yeah.
John, some of with regards to things that are going on right now, activities that are going on right now, 3 big things. One, Frontier Days out in Cheyenne, granddaddy of them all, rodeo.
Yes.
I don't know if you've ever been to that.
I have not. I'd love to go. You have been.
We've been multiple times, and we may be going here on Tuesday.
Oh, wow.
Denver's expecting a baby on Wednesday. And so if you don't want to sit around too much, we're gonna in concert on Thursday night and pick up some rodeo, watch the Pro Bowls riders on Tuesday night. But also what's going on is the air show up in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, the EAA.
Yes, that's a very famous air show.
Event. And I've got an app on my phone. It's called ATC. And I'm listening to the tower at Oshkosh, and it drives my wife absolutely nuts and tells me to turn it off. But it's now Oshkosh, Wisconsin Airport is the busiest airport for this next week.
I believe that. Well, Pete, you and I spent time in Omaha. I remember at the height of the Cold War, the great Ronald Reagan air shows at Strategic Air Command, the center of U.S. Nuclear Command.
Those are great.
Every bell and whistle was out there. It was absolutely awesome. Curtis LeMay would have been proud to see his progeny in action there in Omaha. Yeah, Pete, you would have been very proud of our Franklin County Fair. From rodeos to demo derbies to great food to great 4-H judging and exhibiting. It was a slice of Americana that really needs to stay at the forefront of our Midwest ethos here.
It does, and I think this upcoming week here in Iowa, the Dubuque County Fair is this coming week. I love the Demolition Derby. They've got a tractor pull. Love the tractor pull, and I think it's great. Something else that's going on up here is Ragbrai.
Tell people who can't
what
Ragbrai is. Tell everybody down here what Ragbrai is.
Yeah, so it's what it stands for. So Register's Annual Great Bike Ride Across Iowa is what it stands for.
Ragbrai.
And I believe it started today and ends, or maybe starts tomorrow and ends next Friday. And it's coming through Dubuque and ending. So they start at the Missouri River on the west side of the state, and then it finishes in one of the eastern cities of Iowa, and to finish it, they dip their bicycle tires in the Mississippi River. And it's supposed to, it's not bad here today. It's literally right now, it's a stunning evening. It's 2 degrees.
Wow. But Pete,
except for the smoke from the Canadian wildfire.
We're going to touch on that in just a second here. Let me finish on Ragbrai. They have had some medical episodes in the past as well. Over the years, and I always wonder if cardio is affected by the heat and how maybe that can exacerbate some.
Gosh, of course.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Geez, I remember a few years ago, there were people, they camp in their tents at night, and the storm came through, and big branch of a tree fell off onto a tent and killed a guy in his tent.
It did. Yeah, true story. Very, very sad.
Do you remember that?
I do.
You remember hearing that?
I remember it very well. Yeah, exactly.
And so when it's this hot, Ragbrai is always during one of the hottest weeks of the summer.
Yep.
And it's so important to stay well hydrated. And also it's pets as well. You cannot leave you can't leave your dogs outside in this heat.
Or even your kids in a car. You absolutely cannot do that.
Oh my God.
That can be so fatal to your pets and children for any small amount of time, even in a car that is hot in the summer. It's just a prescription for disaster, Pete.
You know what, John? I drive Ford F-350, and it did some sort of a software update within the past couple of months. Now, unless maybe I push some button, don't understand what I pushed. Whenever I turn the truck off, I have a rear seat alert. Right. Is there anybody is there a rear occupant? And you got to push close. But that wasn't there 2 years ago when I bought the truck.
Yeah.
And but I think that's really good. People. That's so sad. And people need to be careful about kids in in vehicles, children around pools. Boy, you got
my goodness, yes,
9
guys.
sets of eyes on kids.
You cannot take your enough kids around a swimming pool. There have been so many accidental drownings. It is so important. It takes a second, and then disaster hits.
Takes a second. Stay off your cell phone. Give you 100% of your attention to the kids in the pool when you're around there. Just it scares me to death.
Well, Pete, we've got a couple minutes left. I want to go there. What is with the Canadians? They cannot stomp out these fires, and it's making a mess for our breathing quality, and kind of embarrassed us with the FIFA, although they picked the worst stadium to culminate, the Trenton, New York, New Jersey stadium. The other stadium would have been much better situs, including Kansas City here, but be that as it is, and I'm a big conservationist, Pete, and I don't know what to do in Canada, but part of the problems with these fires, even in California, is they're so afraid of fire and of hurting a tree that like in California, they won't do the burning of the underbrush needed to clear out the dead stuff to prevent some of these fires. Yeah. I don't know what's going on in Canada, but this is not the first time Canada has bungled this. And Pete, can that really be bad for people breathing in New York and those places up north there?
Well, if the air quality is that poor, you've got pre-existing lung disease and issues and asthma, this could trigger it. Like our air quality here in Dubuque right now, I just looked a little bit ago, up in north central Wisconsin, it's like 220. Normally our air quality here is like in the 20s and 30s.
Wow.
So nice crystal clear. So, it's pretty hazy.
Wow.
There have been one of our friends, they live up in, and their air quality was in the 500s the other day.
Holy
from the fires.
Wow.
And, but I look at it this way. You get amazing sunsets with the smoke in the air, with the haze.
That's very true. That's very true. You almost may have as lovely as a classical, traditional, renowned Kansas sunset. Just think of the Wizard of Oz scene at the farm had been in color. So, by the way, Pete, have you ever done that mashup with Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon with Wizard of Oz?
No.
Turn down the audio on the Wizard of Oz movie and start up Dark Side of the Moon. Wow, guys, want to blow your minds? Try that out.
Why?
Just try it out.
Link right up.
Yeah, go to YouTube where it has automatically synced it up for you, and it's just eerie. Some of the lyrics seem to correspond with what's going on in the movie, and of course, Pink Floyd denies it. But it is kind of mind-blowing if you do spend some time watching that. So that's my hot tip, along with Be Dehydrated. Pete, you have the last word tonight before we sign off on this special Sunday evening culminating the Franklin County Fair here in Ottawa.
Oh, here. I love this. I love summer. I love summer fairs. I love good old Americana stuff. I just think it's absolutely fantastic.
So, Pete, final outro question.
this past, pardon me?
Yeah, go ahead, Pete.
No, I was going to say, we spent yesterday and today in Chicago visiting our kids. Okay, that's fine. But I just love being in the country. I just love fair. I just love it. It's just, to me, it is the idea of America in the summer.
I agree, Pete. Final outro question. Congress is moving toward year-round daylight savings time. Which would you prefer, year-round daylight savings time or year-round standard time, or the current hybrid mix that we have of going from daylight to savings back to daylight?
I like the hybrid. I would not want to always stay standard time, like daylight savings time. When we kick in, was it the first Saturday, first Sunday in March?
Yeah.
And that holds on till the first Sunday in November.
Right.
I like that the best. My one concern of always being, 365 days in the wintertime, the sun comes up so late, like 8:30, 8:40 or something.
Yeah.
Kids waiting for a school bus at the school bus stop to be picked up at 7. Is that a problem? Cars can't see kids standing there on the side of the road as people are heading to work. That's my one concern. As I've said to my wife, what we should be doing, we should live in the Northern Hemisphere from March 21 to September 21. And on September 21, we should head down to Argentina and live there from September 21 to March 21. So we're always with lots of daylight.
Now you're talking my language. Deb would tell you that sounds just like me. Hey, and we got Javier Milei, the great free market economist running Argentina. We got that going for us. Guys, always great to be with you.
Too bad Argentina lost in the World Cup.
Yeah, today. I was rooting for Messi in Argentina, so I haven't been high on Spain for half a century, but that's a whole other discussion sometime, guys. In the meantime, thanks for joining us again tonight. Boomer Takes with Pete and Jake. Listen to the podcast on KOFO.com. Join us again next week on the Mighty 1220 103.7. And guys, remember, we're your home and away voice of those Kansas City Royals. We're past the All-Star break now, winding into the second half of the season. For Pete Tinsman and for Sean Torres, this is John Jacobson saying be safe, be smart, be good, be strong. Love Jesus Christ, the bounty, the blessings he has given us with these beautiful summer days. And God bless us and America at 250, everyone. Bye-bye.